Hello everybody, welcome back to EPIC44 with Intel, sponsored by Asus ROG. We are back once again.
We are indeed.
I'm Shiva, joined by the Destroyer, Jack.
I love that.
4. I redoubled your name.
You did a bit, I like it.
Fancy, right? Fancy,
I had a bit of fun with it, I appreciate
that's
it.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back.
Look, and we are back once again with our VALORANT Tournament, brought to you by Asus ROG.
Yeah.
And we've had some pretty back and forth series so far. You know, we've had a crazy series of our first match of the tournament.
I mean,
you were there.
I was there for
I
it.
was watching. I was not there, but I was watching. Good lord, that series was crazy. Into, unfortunately, a very one-sided game afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of expected early on. We weren't expecting it to be so much of a topsy-turvy game, especially in that first game. Like, we're like, it could be somewhat close. And then we saw, like, the 10-2. And then both me and Panda were just like, yeah, this is over. Like, there's no way we go further than this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, it's 12-10. Oh, this could go OT.
It just suddenly just went back around. You know, we were dreading it, right? And now we have a really interesting match between two Game Changers teams. Speedrun No Build and Bratz Dollz both having former knowledge of previous matchups and teams, right? We had multiple players play recently for Coalesce Roses, who are both part of the Bratz Dollz roster. And we also have Speedrun No Build, who played for Balls and Claws earlier.
Yeah,
Balls and Claws in previous Epic.
Yeah.
And so we've got a couple veteran players, a couple new players, a couple Epic first-timers. So I'm really excited to see how those combine. And I think on top of that as well, Jenny, one of the players who plays for Bratz Dollz, played with a lot of members from Speedrun No Build, I believe. I believe there's a different player who played with Jenny.
I believe they've mixed around a bit.
That way around, right? So some of these players have played together on opposite sides before, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be some interesting strategy loops here and there, maybe a little bit of mind reading from both sides. So
I mean, there's always that.
Really curious to see how that's going to go. Looking at the veto here, we got Lotus.
Lotus, yeah, I mean, Lotus is one of those maps. I'm always 50-50 on it. I think it's one of those that you can really see. It kind of breaks out those IGLs a lot more. It's one of those maps where there's so many spots you can push into, so many places you can, you can set up your fakes, you can set up your traps, but also pulling a rotation correctly on this map. If you want to go into B, for example, there's so many spots that they can retake from. It's like, it looks like an easy site take, and then you suddenly realize everyone's here already, but then to commit so early to like an A push, I mean, we've seen how much util gets dumped down half the time on those rounds. You got to be careful.
Yeah, I think Lotus is a very popular map amongst our players as well. We see it very often throughout the last few tournaments, and for good reason. First off, the map is really fun, and second of all, like you mentioned, right, there are so many different ways to cover these site areas and these long angles. You can take a very aggressive or passive approach, and both options are very viable and very much able to make you a very successful roster and contribute to your playstyle. And what makes this map so complex as well, and I guess a good reason for teams to kind of grind and practice on, is that those revolving doors have always been a point of rotations and memes and loads of strange plays and coordinations between both sides. So I am curious if that's going to lead to more mind reading into this one as well. But on top of that, the meta has changed a ton.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of those Teos coming on through. I mean, we're already seeing it on the side of Bratz Dollz, but looks like Speedrun might not be running the Teo into this, which is always interesting. I mean, an agent that's kind of slotted into the meta perfectly, and it seems like every team wants to run them, but I mean, sometimes it's best to go back to basics, go back to what you're used to. Yes, the Teo is great, sometimes kind of broken, but if you're not used to it, it's better to just go comfort.
Yeah, I think generally Tier 1 are often the pioneers, Tier 2 are the quick followers, and then Tier 3 are kind of the ones that are hesitating on whether or not they want to straight away get into that meta, or if they want to ease themselves in, maybe go a little bit of a hybrid of old and new. And Bratz Dollz's comp makes a lot of sense in that idea, right? You still have that new agent in Tejo, a character that has been dominating the meta, and I mean, for good reason. Such amazing versatility in his kit. You've got the special delivery concuss, which bounces off walls, leads to very rapid setups and very quick sudden attacks. And then you have the missiles that can be used both very aggressively and very defensively, be it to flush something out or to stall for a bomb defuse. You've got loads of options with this character, and you see him played so many times. Another agent that I'm also really surprised to not be in here, Vice. Vice has been played a lot on this map, but not in this one. Yeah,
I mean, I'm interested as well to see the fact we get a Viper on for it. Viper is one of those agents where I feel like she still fits into the meta, just a bit less than used to. You know, after those snakebite nerfs going down to the 1, all of that, like the regen on the wall, everything along those lines. I think it's one of those agents which just doesn't get the pick as much as it used to, but it's still one of those that can definitely pay off. I mean, if you play it correctly, that wall is just so useful, especially on a massive map like Lotus. You can cut off so many sightlines with it and just often get a bit of a free site, kind of push those players back, force them to either take a really aggressive fight, or they just have to back up.
Yeah, I know. You just have so many unique options, even if the meta is so shifting and so strange with this map. And it always leads to really fun gameplay. Lotus is a map known for its very bipolar type of play style. And Raze is a really aggressive agent on this one. You see all the time, basically, on this map as well. Yeah. Unless you want to be a little funky, you sometimes go for the jet. Sometimes you even go for the chamber, which we've seen very, very often as well. But into this one here, we have both of our teams set up here. Barcelona Noble and Bratz Dollz in. I made a few mistakes with the intro introducing these teams together, so let me just correct myself real quickly. Bratz Dollz, formerly known as Claws and Balls, not the other way around. A lot of their players are freshly new. However, 2 members in both Jenny and Livy, who I believe is Jester on that lineup there, were formerly for Claws and Balls, the rest being new, and the other team, Bar Speedrun, formerly known as Kitchen Escapers, with Vertigo Livy, who was on the Bratz Dollz side, formerly playing for that team before, so that's where the time comes from. But we're getting very quickly into this already, man. Yeah. Early engage straight off the bat, the drone catching off 2 members there, and a very aggressive push coming in from Bratz Dollz. Already, Makilla taken down on the back of the site, and with damage taken on here from multiple members of Bratz Dollz, still basically no damage done, only a little bit on the Tejo. With 1 man down, it's a 4 versus 5 retake.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an aggressive take. We barely see it on the C site, but it's one of those that can really pay off, and they're trying to get aggressive into the spawn as well. But Clementine managing to take 1 down on the way in, but Jester gets 2 more. That's 3 on the round already. We're going to need an ace to win this out.
Instantly a back-to-back trade, though, and suddenly Jester's a 1v1, and a quick tap onto Ale, isolated entirely. A little bit of a mis-synergy here, not able to hold on with a tap confirmed here. Jester's got the time, might be able to get the timing, and the slow peek, not right, just on the draw. As Kalmia gets the opening blood and the first win here. Successful 4 versus 5 retake for Bar.
Yeah, I mean, almost our first ace on stream there and on a pistol round. And an aggressive one at that. I mean, all of the players just bundling into that C site. We often see those A rushes, but the C ones are a bit more rare. I feel like it's one that's kind of overlooked sometimes. You know, teams often opt to go towards that A. They can, you know, level themselves up, getting through into the site. But on C, if you just run it down right, it pays off massively. That stun was perfectly placed to force that player back site into a fight. And it just paid off. That
protocol was very clearly planned and calculated very meticulously, but that post-retake aggression afterwards didn't go into their favor. Clementine and Kalmia were huge actors in that one as well. A double kill from Clementine back at the back of A was a huge factor. And now, are on the aggressive here. Ale with a double kill on the Spectre. Both members of Bratz Dollz trying to take some space down that mid, while a little bit on that A split too, trying to get some early kills with the low weaponry that they have, but unfortunately the Viper of Bar were very aware, and that in turn is going to give them a very early man advantage and a slow regression here for Bratz Dollz.
I mean, Asteria there from the side of Bar Speedrun, not willing to give up that space on A. They've taken all that space. They don't need to give this up. You see these other 2 players on this B site. They know these players could be trying to push in here, but this crossfire set up with the trip as well. There's really not much you're going to be able to do. They've already been spotted out, and there we go. The spams through the smoke, not landing just there, as Wildfire manages to survive. But such low HP, it can't be for much longer.
So much damage onto Wildfire there. At this rate, you're just praying for some sort of spam, and there's unfortunately not in the favor of Wildfire. Kalmia gets that spam through, and unfortunately, with Jess just on her own, does get 1 body shot on the kill onto the Sheriff, but not really much damage outside of that. And even 2 rounds win here for Bar Speedrun, pretty expected for that pre-anti-eco round.
Yeah, manages to stop the flawless round. You know, you take the small wins there, but an expected round that we see there. But unfortunate for the side of Bratz Dollz after, I mean, going back to that first round, it was so dominant, and then you go into it. Can't do much here, but look forward into this round. They've got the guns in their favor. This is where we and hopefully start to see some of those strategies come on through and see if they can develop a bit more on this push. As it looks like it's going to be an aggressive all-out just attack on both sides from the C site.
Yeah, once again, really aggressive avenue here. But this time, Bar are aware of it, setting up themselves, waiting for a counterplay. Look at this 5-person wall here from Bratz Dollz. The firing squad is ready, awaiting their next victim. Bar Speedrun are not falling for it right now. They're going to keep it slow, and as the Teo missiles comes out, so do the members of Bar Speedrun, forced to take some fights here, and all 3 of them completely destroyed separately from all different members here of Bratz Dollz, and in turn, the site is completely open for them. the rest of the members of VALORANT forced to go for those long rotations through B and through A, and maybe any kind of hope possible needs to be now. Because Bratz Dollz got the bomb down, that post-bomb's coming through. What can Ally do here?
They're in a really good position here. If they could just land one of these shots, but no!
Oh, J-Aura, what a shot as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's left all down onto Michaela. I mean, there's not much you can do here. Spectre in hand, maybe gets one on the way out, but there's so many players to clear out. That turret's ready. I just dodged the missiles, though, and gets the first, but not the second.
Ooh. Almost a little bit of Spectre magic there. You saw those headshots and the chain collaterals deal a lot of damage, but thankfully only one victim to that. That being said, regardless, I mean, that early aggression there from our speedrun seemed so well done at the start, but afterwards, once Bratz Dollz realized what they were doing, they backed off, took their time, waited to see if there was any bait to be pulled, and once they didn't do that, they just did aggression again. They pulled that through. That's why Teo is so damn good, man. Able to flush out those close corners, forcing them to back off and force a fight or run, right?
Yeah.
And with that being done, instant win, and the site theirs as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the patience as well on the side of Bratz Dollz. They saw the aggression coming out from Bar Speedrun and decided not to opt for the crunch, waited out, and just, I mean, it was a clean sweep at that point, killing all 3 players. They didn't lose any casualties on that way in, but looks like they want to go C again. Looking to be their favored site as already Jester goes up top with those satchels, managing to get all of this site space, but has yet to spot a player, as it looks like Bar Speedrun willing to just kind of sit back and play for the retake here.
I was a little bit worried about that back pillar clearance there, but with nobody around, I mean, it's effectively done so. Clementine gets one. Roaring Thunder still in her possession here. There's a potential for a big retake as Michaela does manage to get in. Rolling Thunder thrown out as well. Jenny's forced to teleport away and give away that space, but Kalmia, waiting on the other side through the door, gets one, but not the second, as Wildfire left on her own in a 1 versus 2. The split angles almost succeeds with the 2-man spray, but it wasn't enough. Clementine, not only with those 2 kills prior, but that Rolling Thunder value, clear MVP for this round here.
Yeah, I mean, getting that Rolling Thunder online early just gives you those opportunities on rounds like that where you can just invest it, guarantee push all those players off site. It means there's so many less angles to clear. You know they're all going to be playing from that main spam spot. You just have your gun up ready to take the fights, and they managed to shut it down. Yeah,
Clementine has been working magic in this match so far. 7-2 in these first few rounds. A lot of contributions in these early stages here, and a good source of that strong starting momentum here for Bar Speedrun. And despite, honestly, some really good aggressive efforts here from Bratz Dollz, and honestly, this round, most likely not to be an exception either. Look at these ult counters here. You have the Showstopper and the Rolling Thunder coming out here for Bratz Dollz, able to potentially get a huge engage. But in fact, it's going to be very early. In fact, combined together here. Out comes the Showstopper. Jester gets one, but can't find the others here. Forced to go through the wall as Clementine punishes her aggression. And in turn, the momentum has been slowed down. In fact, it's not actually that way. It's been a fake. They've gone for the rotation. They've gone for the full rotation on their own here. As the drone clears out so much information, they have practically the whole site to themselves. Aquila is forced to try and maybe hold on to something, but off screen, Jess gets 2. In fact, just through A main, catches the rotation. And that's an instant clear site win here for Bratz Dollz.
Yeah, I mean, Bar Speedrun, you've only got 2 players left standing here. You've not really got a way back into this unless you can hopefully find one of these early kills, but all of the players from Bratz Dollz, they're just sitting back waiting. They know they don't need to get aggressive. They know they don't need to push you. They're just going to sit here, turret set up, ready. They know if someone tries to get on this, and I think Bar Speedrun maybe know this. They're realizing they're not finding any of these players. The time is just ticking down. I think they're going to opt for the save.
Yeah, Clementine's util unfortunately used in vain. She's unable to really lock in any victims or any of information to force an aggressive take. That's enough time for Bratz Dollz to confirm their round, make it out safe and sound.
Yeah. Another one of those where it's just, you get into the site, and this time the setup was there. This time they had everything they needed. They backed on up. They had the numbers advantage. I mean, catching those 2 players pushing out of A as well. And there was really nothing more they could do.
I mean, that was honestly a really solid fake. A lot of investment in ultimates, though. Sometimes you would question how much you'd need to invest in order to sell that fake. But honestly, a round's a round. If you win that combination and get it through, it works out. Granted, you weren't able to get enough kills that maybe you'd hoped for. Rolling Thunder, especially, is a round-defining ultimate. And although it only caused 1 victim, it also did push back multiple members of Bar Speedrun to kind of sell it even more. That wall gives an air of mystery that almost made them certain that it was going to be a full 5-man engage. But that rotation was perfect. And this time, instead of any fakes, instead of any mind games, they're just going once again with the same protocol they did in the pistol round. Super super aggressive drone take on the Taeho, enough to confirm a lot of space to give Bratz Dollz that full engage here. And Jester, again, huge aggressive take, but the spray from Aquila, a double kill, one through the smoke as well. Neurothet reveals the rest as well, and in turn, Wildfire is alone on the site here, just barely misses on the dinks. But she's alone on the site. Jenny's forced to push. Armageddon's going to be thrown out as well. There's not going to be any victims, just a slight slowdown. Wildfire needs to try and get some info here through the Viper's pit, but it's not enough! Jayora runs through with a double kill, 2 headshots, can't get the third though, and it's a 1 versus 2. Jenny alone. Can she get, whoa, a falling headshot there. 3 bullets left on the chamber, but she can't finish it off. Has to put out the Sheriff. Clementine, star of the show so far. She needs to hold on, and she does. Defuse secured here for Bar Speedrun, but it was very tenuous.
I mean, it was so close, only 2 and a bit seconds left on that clock there. I mean, all it takes is a bit more time kill from Jenny there. Unfortunate, swings on through, had run out of bullets in that Vandal. Had to just check that someone wasn't on it, but unable to land the shot there.
That Armageddon from Jayora was seemingly kind of clearly focused to force in that aggression through the Viper's pit without any major risks, right? With that Viper's coming through, you're so scared of that mystery, you really have to be aware of these sudden off angles that you get jump scared with while going in blind, right? With that Armageddon, that space secured here, and Jayora was just able to run in and just spray. It was like Call of Duty in there.
Yeah, I mean, the run into the Viper's ult, it's always a questionable one, but for the Viper player as well, to hop out of that ultimate during that round, it was a risky play. One that almost didn't pay off, and they've got 3 players here. Hang on a second. AO managing to take down 1 there on the way out, but that was over towards the B. That's shut down that B player and given so much space for Bar Speedrun here. They don't know what's going on A, though, as the Cypher is just sitting back into sight, and the gun will be recovered by Jenny there.
So AL does have the information that one of them did manage to catch it through, and Makila is left on her own here. To get that information while having to withstand the onslaught of a utility coming out here. But she does still have that cage coming through, maybe enough to secure a few kills early on. A 1, a 2 here for Makila, running through her own cage, managing to get a bit too eager on that one. Jester manages to finish her off finally. Ale down on pit with that stun. Perfect combination there. Finishing it off here for Bar Speedrun. A good chance of aggression, but Makila got a lot of value from that lurk round at the back side.
Yeah, I mean, it was great plays there, and also the synergy to get that stun through and the swing from AO there, just to clean up the rest of that round. Make sure there's no chance of it slipping in the last moments, and I mean, they're doing well so far. So much for the Bar speedrun. They might be going for a win speedrun at this point.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, a win into the Bar, full combo, pretty classic, I'd say, you know, pretty valid there. You might be able to see that come through. But, you know, Ale and Makila really stepping up in this one so far. And it's starting to become a little bit more distant. 2 wins in a row here for Bar Speedrun. Looking to hopefully make it a 3rd here. But these ultimates are pretty valid here from Bratz Dollz. You have the Killjoy lockdown. You also have the From the Shadows. It could lead to a very valid fake. This could be a good trickery play here from both sides if they play it right.
Oh, but they have to clear out Makila.
Showstopper just there. Jess is lurking through. Cut sound entirely, but Makila making aware, but she's spotted just as the cage goes down. Damage traded from both sides, but Jayora finishes her off with the missiles. And that's going to be full space established here. Jenny now pulling out that From the Shadows, consolidating that space up through the top site.
Yeah, full site control for them. I mean, it now puts Bar Speedrun into a position where you're on this 4 and 5, you need to retake on through, and you got to find these players out. Spots out Jayora, but that's going to be a player to distract as this stun comes on through as well. But AO managing to find the first as the Killjoy ultimate is invested here.
Oh, Kalmia, nicely done. But a trade from Jenny onto Asteria.
They have to push back though. They can't change the ultimate.
They can't commit to this. That's going to be so much time taken away from the clock. And a lot of damage done as well. Are they going to be really opting into this aggression? No way. There's so little time left. And the Bratz Dollz are just finishing it off. They're just cleaning up. At this right here, Clementine does get 1 successfully. But now that she's pinned behind rubble, she's not really able to get any more joy. Yes, that is a big loss from Bratz Dollz, actually. 2 deaths off the spike. Granted, a round is a round, but you've lost a lot of money from that. You all had rifles there, right? Yeah. Having loads of kills, so many opportunities to pick up any spare if you had one missing. But they overstayed their welcome just a little bit too long and lost a lot of money there. Having said though, still managed to get the round. That Killjoy ultimate was timed to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, still able to invest into next round, so they're all good. You got that 1 Guardian, but that's not the end
just
of it.
barely. I mean, now they're broke.
Just about, but Hey, you got the guns for this round? That's all good. But on the other side, for VALORANT speedrun here, still managing to get those guns through, even when they're losing these rounds, managing to do enough damage to make sure they can keep buying. I think they might be okay for next if it comes to it. They're going to want to win this one if possible, try and stop this aggression from Bratz Dollz again on this C side.
Seems like they're going to be doing a similar protocol once again, but it's going to be an early reveal here. Asteria is going to be spotted. As they throw out the missiles here, it's going to be selling once again another fake. As there's no committed push, but look at how many members of VALORANT speedrun are committing to this rotation here. But look, you see 2 members now calling the fake, immediately running back to check if there's any flank or any lurk. But Bratz Dollz, seems like they're playing 4D chess.
Look at B site, you've got the Killjoy lurked all the way up. This wall's up. They don't realize necessarily that Wildfire's here, but it looks like Ale might be aware of this.
Ale suspicious, and her suspicions are true. And Calmia also picks up a little bit of a pick onto Jester, but with the aftershock coming out, forced to take the fight against Jayora and loses. With that being a 4 versus 3 in favor of VALORANT speedrun, the clock is ticking down to 40 seconds remaining, and it seems like Bratz Dollz are going to be coming into the site here. A trade, Jayora and Mikila both getting kills of their own here. Once again, though, still 1 number down, now even out, but that blind and stun, perfect here for Ale to get the kill, but it's still a back and forth trade here. It's a 1 versus 1, and Jenny cleans it off, finishes the round, and gets the plant as well with a little extra cash in hand here for Bratz Dollz. So thankfully, that gambit does come to fruition, but it was very close and a bit back and forth there.
Yeah, I mean, a great clutch from Jenny to win that one out in the last moments of that round, but something to highlight at the moment. Asteria maybe having a bit of a slow start to this game. 0-7 at the moment, that raise that you really want to see being able to get aggressive, but being shut down on this defense side, it is a bit more difficult on that raise because you've got to pick your fights correctly. You don't want to be running into all of the players, but I mean, if we see them start to pop off, that could really just change the tide over.
Yeah, Asteria, I believe, being one of the newer players to Epic, if not being her premier appearance here at Epic Land, so maybe a little bit of nerves in the start of the match here, mayhaps. And, you know, with Duelist, you need that ego, you need that confidence to go in, so maybe a little bit of time of adjustment here for Asteria. But that being said, she does have that showstopper in her possession, and with retake potential being really strong with that nerf threat as well on an opening pick, could be a very big opportunity to open up the floodgates for Asteria to start making the slaughter. So far, it's a slow start from both sides. Just a big game of chicken so far.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, they're just weighing each other out, but it looks like it's going to be that C-push again. You got that one player lurking over towards on the A site for Bratz Dollz, but all 4 of the rest of the team stacked up on this C site, ready to go.
There it goes.
Ray's going to hit the go button. Jester, time and time again, just satchels into that backside position just to clear out if someone's behind this box. The ultimate is available and online if they choose, but they just want to get aggressive through the smoke.
Jester
there we go.
runs out. Does he get it? She does! And that's a big one. Astra taken down. None of those retake smokes available. Armageddon also invested here from Jayora. And that's going to take away a lot of time here with Asteria forced to commit to a fight but loses it. Showstopper in hand as well. A rough situation to be in for VALORANT speedrun. But Clementine's there to answer the call. Gets 1 onto Jayora. But you still have 4 more members of Bratz Dollz to face. Rolling Thunder in her possession. Viper's Pit as well on Ale. With the blind and stun are coming through, the combination is there, and it seems like the rest of Bratz Dollz are cleaning up shop. A free kill for the rest here for Bratz Dollz.
Yeah, I mean, Jester there just being that player to be aggressive, wanting to take those fights, invest the ult nice and early. Yeah, you might not need it on that round, but to get that extra bit of space, shut down 1 extra player, just not even allow for a chance of that retake, just early on in the round, just helps out so much.
Yeah. You also still have that Rolling Thunder available here from Clementine. You still have the Showstopper from Asteria. But Jess has a Rolling Thunder of her own here that could be used for a very aggressive take. That being said, though, you don't have Jess's ultimate to combine with this. So I wonder if it's just going to be a 1-man push. You still also have that from the shadows here. So I wonder how these are going to be utilized here from Bratz Dollz. Seems like they're going to be going to aggressive B-take here. Loads of util resistance thrown out here from VALORANT speedrun to slow down the push here. It seems like they're still committing to it. Out comes the blind, out comes the stun, out comes the Teo drone, double statue as well. Jester going to get 2 detected, but gets the trade here against Asteria, who hesitates to pick up the Vandal. With utility thrown out as well, Calmia left on her own with the Bucky. Asteria needs to win more fights, but can't win it. Ale does get 1, but it's not enough. The plant is not down, and the spike is still in their possession. Able to go for the rotation onto C safely here. With Jenny holding on to the push from the rotations here. Takes down Makila. Ale next to fall as well. Bratz Dollz do take the lead after being down for a good margin now. About to maybe open up a 7-5 lead in the first half.
Yeah, a great shutdown at the end there from Jenny, just opting to choose to wait, knowing these players are going to push on through. Not expect that player to be so close, but time and time again we're seeing how Jester is really the spearhead for this team. Send Jester in, see what Jester can get done, and go from there.
Jester, go kill. Throw out utility, throw out the Teo drone, and you have Jester all set up for exactly what she wants. And she's proven to be a very strong mechanical player for this team, easily able to cleanly hit those shots. So it's been a good start for them. Speedrun no build, they need to lock in this final round, and honestly, you expect so with the amount of ultimates that you have here at your possession. I mean, all five there. Viper's Pit immediately thrown out here. Ale, shorty in hand, trying to get a little bit cheeky, but doesn't manage to succeed in any of the damage here. Hey-ho missiles, fired out, in an attempt to try and flush her out. Loads of use invested to take down this Viper's Pit, and it's not going to be used for a full commit, it's going to be a rotation here.
I mean, it's a great investment of a Viper's ult. You know how much the Bratz Dollz love to go to that C site. Investing that early and forcing them to... You just don't get aggressive in it. You back off. You see all this util coming through. Just make sure you can stay alive and you shut down the C site option, which allows for the rotates from the rest of the team. And already we're seeing all 4 players are ready for this. TP into tree to try and get a bit more space for Jenny, but only gets them a tiny bit ahead of the rest of the team.
Yeah, still has that Rolling Thunder as well. Clementine also in hand. Out comes the first Rolling Thunder. Also the showstopper from Asteria. She's going to get stopped and thrown away. Momentum thrown. A lot of damage hit onto her. But with that slowdown, she's not able to do enough damage and takes a lot of it herself. And with the smoke dissipating, Clementine is out in the open and caught by many, but taken down by Jess. Out comes the Astral Divide, but Jester is taking so many lives at the moment. With Asteria left on her own, even with 5 ultimates, Speedrun can't get the round to even out the playing field. It's 7-5 here for Bratz Dollz.
Yeah, I mean, the investments of ultimates from both sides there.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
The breach ult into a breach ult, a raise ult on the other side as well. Just everything being thrown into that round. It's the last round of the half, but unfortunate for Speedrun there. As you said, with the 5 ultimates online, unable to close out that round. But this is where we really start to see the switch. Is this where Asteria really starts to get activated? Can they be the catalyst for the rest of the team, just like Jester was on that attack side?
You know, the biggest takeaway from that really took away from what Asteria could have done with her showstopper was that Rolling Thunder response straight afterwards against Clementine's. You know, you could have seen some very different outcomes had that not backed her away. But you know, with that opportunity taken away from her, she's now forced to go on that attack side. Pistol round fully reset here from both teams. It's still a very close game nonetheless, and it's a very aggressive early take here coming out here from Bratz Dollz as Jester already takes control of Rubble. Ale is taken down here from Jayora's missiles. Spike drop down as well, notifying the rest of Bratz Dollz. With Jayora on the flank here, Makila does punish very quickly. So thankfully no massive lurk secured here, but it's slowed down now. The spike taken away here for Speedrun. They're going to be shifting their eyes onto the C site. With JJ Util popped away, Asteria alone here. A lot of damage taken. Dice to her own grenade on top of the Killjoy Util. No response to join her for Speedrun. Nobody able to really help her out there. And in turn, it's another slow push. Clementine hesitates coming out. As Wildfire is there on the box, waiting for the push.
Being so patiently just in this corner, and I mean all of this util here to slow down as well, making sure it's not revealed that Wildfire's in this position. I don't think they're going to be ready for this as they swing through the smoke. They've got 2 angles to clear because Jess is up top as well.
Both paying very close attention to that top site area. Jess on the rail there.
30 seconds left.
Waiting for the crossfire. Comes the stun, but it doesn't even hit Jess, as that is the perfect way you nail a defensive crossfire here from Bratz Dollz. Great off angle to just barely miss that stun to fake out Wildfire being in that corner. Perfectly done.
Yeah, I mean, Wildfire able to just sit back and wait so patiently. Not a single player looked into that corner or thought for even a second there could be a player there. But yeah, great setup to shut that one down, and we'll go into this next one, and this is where you can start to see Bratz Dollz maybe try and run this momentum through. This is 6 in a row for them, looking to be the 7th as well, as they will have the guns advantage, but if they can start to run away with this a bit more, this could be a bit of a worrying time for Speedrun.
Yeah, and the economy also speaks a lot of truth in that one. Well, forced to buy a few sheriffs, granted very explosive weapons, and you know, throughout these tournaments, we've seen sheriffs do some massive magic here, but considering how well Bratz Dollz have pulled these aggressions and how well they've executed, seems a little bit doubtful. You can see how much value comes out. Jester is hiding and calling this fake. Are they going to be aware? Asteria is already taken down, and they don't know of Jester, who gets 2 with a sheriff of her own. Jess wiping the rest. The distracted bunch staring at Jester, hoping they can get picks, but not aware, forgetting of the Bulldog power there from Jess. And in turn, Bratz Dollz once again shut down that eco push on the Sheriffs.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a shutdown round. There's nothing else to
Easily.
say about that.
Yeah.
There was nothing on the other side. I mean, Bratz Dollz just so perfectly set up. Get Jester in that up top position, distracting all those players, taking out a few on the way as well, and then send the other player into swing, and there's not really much you can do from the side of bar speedrun. But you will have the guns going into this round. Unfortunately, a couple of light shields being brought on through, as well as that regen shield, which can pay off, we'll have to see, but it's going to be that C push. We saw it work so well on the other side for Bratz Dollz. Is this where bar speedrun maybe find the gap?
Let's see. Bar speedrun opting in to go for that 5-man slow shift here onto the C site. You do have Wildfire on her own here. No info leaked, but this seems like it's going to be very rapid. Stars already placed down. Grav well invested, stun invested. Forcing Wildfire to pop those nano swarms. Now comes the push here. Out comes the aggression here as they go round through the back, but the cage reveals, and fortunately Wildfire cannot make the most of it as she does fall. Aquila punishing as well. With the plant coming down here for bar speedrun, the trades lean into their favor. 4 versus 3. With no notable flank here as well. You do have Asteria on the door, waiting for the right timing, but she's just missing it here. The Viper Wall, though, is disguising her push. Is she going to be able to make the most of it? Oh, she almost does. Just barely missing the kill onto Clementine, but pops the door once again. A lot of damage onto Ale, but not enough to get the finishing blow. But a lot of damage done. Bar speedrun, 3 members, under 50% HP. Jess with the blind. Is she going to be able to get the kill right on time? Yes, she does. Ale is down. Makila very low HP around the corner of backside. 10 HP left on her, but Jayora is not aware. Jess cleans up, but so many fires there, just not able to do much with it. Unfortunately, the crossfire, the double stack there from Bar Speedrun was enough to get the round done. And finally, they managed to get a round on the board.
Yeah, I mean, the time just wasn't on their side for the side of Bratz Dollz there. Like, yes, you had a lot of positioning, but there's so many players left to clear out. At least Bar Speedrun able to close that one out. Not in the cleanest fashion, though. Only able to carry through one of these guns into the next round, which is going to force a few of their players onto this lighter buy with the Guardians, with those regen or light shields. But also on the other side, you've got Jester on a Sheriff only, which is an interesting choice as the top frag on the team, not throwing a rifle over onto them. So maybe there's some kind of setup with this.
Now, one thing's for sure, that shows a lot of confidence here as your top duelist player. Knowing that you can pull just as much value from a Sheriff, an 800 credit weapon, compared to something like a Vandal, shows a lot of confidence here. And that's why you should, you know, if you're the betting man at the moment, you look at Bratz Dollz and you think, damn, you know, this is seems like a squad that know what the hell they're doing. That being said, though, Bar Speedrun, for the first time, I believe in a while here, going into an aggressive A-take with 2 members of Bratz Dollz waiting on that A-site push here. Wildfire gets 1, but not the second. As Asteria gets the trade with the Guardian, but Jayora thankfully avenges her friend on the A-site as the rest of Bratz Dollz start into those rotations. Clementine also... Clementine is down, sorry. The Unlimited Fury... Not Unlimited Fury, sorry. The Rolling Thunder coming out here for Bratz Dollz available. Able to be used.
There's not much you can
There's
do
nothing
here.
left here. Bomb is down. Makila's just completely blind. It's a clean win here. Bratz Dollz still have that Rolling Thunder for the retake.
Yeah, I mean, also that push from behind so early on into that round, sending those 2 players through on that flank on the A side, just making sure that you just don't waste time. And it looks like Jester accidentally used a satchel there. I thought I might have heard something. It's fine. You know, it happens to everyone.
She was looking for the drone. She was looking to pet the drone, you know, and couldn't find it.
I'm going
in his pocket,
17-10.
you know?
You're going to make a couple mistakes here and there. It's better to make them in the pre-round than in the actual rounds, but we'll see as set out from the Killjoy. It's going to be on this A site, which means it's not going to get spotted straight away, but looks like it's going to be a B stack for the side of Bar Speedrun. They're going to shift walk it down, so not to be spotted straight away. It's all on to Jenny.
Jenny is left alone here, holding around the baby door area, waiting for a sign here. Smoke comes out, blood is in, the stun is through, but doesn't succeed to land on Jenny there. As Asteria is taken down, Calmy gets the trade, but there's a lot of hesitation here from Bar Speedrun. One of them is aggressively onto site, the other one comes out the door. Makila with the frenzy takes down Jester, but now comes the Rolling Thunder very soon. Jess is waiting for the right time, but Calmy has snuck. Is she going to get... No way! She's found it! And she's taking down Jess before she can whip out the Rolling Thunder. And that's a huge luck kill.
Yeah, I mean, Wildfire's got quite a bit to clear in this corner. Sees this player,
Barrel,
though.
spam is through.
Got
A lot
one.
of damage from Hale.
Here.
There's
That's
still so
it.
much left to clear. Wildfire needs to spot out these players. Spots another one, but the teammate will fall.
Wildfire. What can you do? Weaponry may be low, but numbers are lower.
Enemy
What can you
remaining.
do? While stunned, a clean shot onto Makila. Very low HP, but very much still winnable. But Clementine is your opponent.
Imagine if I
Formidable
died.
player throughout this match, and will succeed once again. Keeping that name still true throughout this match. Thrifty secured here.
Getting the message.
Even so,
Me, I'll rough
not able to get the defuse, but still a great clutch.
I mean, what around that was to have the flank pushes on through to catch, I mean, 2 players completely off guard. I mean, you had the frenzy kill from the door. They threw the nade to the front side of it. They went round the back, didn't take any damage from that. Take a player down. Unable to recover that rifle, but that didn't matter. And then on the other side of it, shutting down that rolling thunder before it could even be brought online. I mean, they had it ready, probably about to pop it any second.
Yeah.
They didn't expect the player there. They had knife out. They were walking on through and went, hang on a second, there's someone standing here.
Yeah, I mean, that aggressive, that willingness to just invest into that aggression with the frenzy and the stingers just shows a lot of what Bratz Dollz are capable of here. With that Teo going for that reveal and that suppression, going to be backing off onto that B and transitioning onto this A site with, once again, Wildfire on her own. Last time they did this, Wildfire forced a delay that was enough to secure them the round. But this time the weaponry is low. And this time she's forced to be a little bit more passive. Jiggling, taking her time, waiting for the right moment to strike. And Asteria lining up the satchels. Out comes the flash, out comes the aggression here. Asteria satchels in. Calmia gets the kill into Wildfire. Jester though with the judge. Does get one trade, but is taken down very quickly afterwards. A lot of even trades here, 3 versus 3. Tejo and Missiles is going to be forcing one back. But look at J-Aura on this flank. 2 more points off of the Armageddon as well.
With Bratz Dollz here are split up on these 3 different entry points. And they want to just take these fights separate, but it's just causing all the players on site to look each and every way. They don't know where to look.
Forced to go back. Plant is not in their favor though. It's done for backside, but they're holding for rubble here. Out comes the Rolling Thunder, and that's just a free defuse at this rate.
Can't use that yet.
They've pushed them back. There's nothing
Oh
more they
no,
can do.
bar speedrun. They've screwed themselves over here.
My ultimate is ready.
And that's just an instant easy free defuse with a kill on the boot as well. 2 kills on the boot, even with lower weaponry. Is locked in. That is a tragic misplay there from bar speedrun. Maybe a bit too afraid.
It's an unfortunate one because they had so many players retaking for so many spots. You had that one on the flank. You got kind of pinned into sight a bit, and then you were like, we need to get out of this. They run back, but without realizing that maybe the Rolling Thunder was online. I didn't even notice it until just then. That gets invested at that point. You can't get back in time.
You're cooked.
Placing
Yeah.
swarm grenade.
Put it simply, you know, once that, first of all, you already kind of mess yourself over by going out through playing for Mound when you only have the back of sight to try and fight for. You can't fight from there, right? You have to be in the sight to play from that. And that on top of it, just Rolling Thunder, forcing them back, slowing them down, it was free, you know? And with that being said, now out comes a lot of utility. Armageddon is thrown out and Asteria is caught off guard. And that's one big kill and a lot of momentum shut away. That entry duelist is now gone. And what can Fast Speedrun do now? They have the Rolling Thunder still available, but the weaponry is so low.
Look at
Do
all
you
those-
really want to invest these ultimates?
Did you see all those pings down onto the B side? They know where all of these players were, but they've also got this set up on A. You've got the one player in the race just holding that close angle on rubble. But then you also have the backup of the breach. Jess just sitting there ready with the stun in hand. As soon as the smoke goes up, it's probably going to be invested. It's not allow anything to come off through, but
Ooh.
Ale managed to catch one off guard on the B side, but on the other side over towards the A side, I mean, really not going great in their favor as Jester still alive in this back rubble position.
Yeah, and that's a really domineering position for a player like her. The top performer here for Bratz Dollz.
30 seconds left.
Somebody you fear when you dare peek that angle. And so Bar Speedrun are going to choose to respect that and lead to a rotation very quickly onto the C site. But it's only 20 seconds left. Can you really do this quick enough here? At this rate, it's just do or die territories here. Out comes from the shadows to reveal more information. Viper's Pit invested here. 10 seconds left, but Clementine does get the plant down. Rolling Thunder and Astral Divide also in possession. Again, the weaponry is so low. You have to be very calculated with the utility here. Out comes the lockdown though, and that's just going to put so much pressure onto them. Ale, a sharpshooter previously noticed. She misses Clementine. She misses.
Walked
She
past
misses
and
Jess.
didn't realise.
No, the pass gets detained. And the show does from Jester, just takes another one down. Jess clears it up, and that's just Bar Speedrun wiped apart. So much utility invested, but no value to come through.
Yeah, I mean, it was the lockdown from the other side just forcing all these players out of it. And, I mean, the unfortunate run-through to walk past the player without even noticing. I mean, it happens to everyone,
rough,
but
man.
That was an awkward moment for it to happen. But they had to try and get out of that ultimate regardless, and unable to. And it suddenly puts Bratz Dollz in this position to be on match point, able to do those back-to-back retakes. I mean, maybe this is a point where, speedrun, you maybe need to have a quick reset, work out what's going wrong on these retakes. Why is it the Bratz Dollz are able to flush this out and just get back in?
At this stage, you need players like Asteria to step up here with the aggression, right? You have that Rolling Thunder available. Maybe they can go for a rotation to go for one of those orbs and then pounce with the Rolling Thunder and Showstopper combo like they did before, which worked to very good succession. Maybe even go to some sort of a cunning fake, or like Bratz Dollz did to them before, or they'll just fully engage as Rolling Thunder claims the entire site of B here. Jenny is forced to TP away, but doesn't actually land it accurately, and so she's stuck on the site. Asteria again, out on her own. Bar Speedrun not able to coordinate properly here, and Clementine's forced to run out, try and commit to the fight. But that being said, the 1v1s were being won, but not enough for Bar Speedrun to get anything in. Bratz Dollz will convincingly get that win down. Second half almost dominated.
Yeah, I mean, a 13-7 there for the side of Bratz Dollz. A great second half, as you
Greatly
said.
done.
Like, those retakes were just on point. Like, even with the Viper's ult invested and stuff like that, these big ultimates in rounds, these big setups, they just got broken down.
Yeah, you had so many valuable attempts from multiple angles, right? You saw that aggressive take, you saw the rotations into the fakes from both sides as well, but it seems like Bratz Dollz just had better protocols and better synergies together. Multiple instances you saw Asteria trying to be that aggressive anchor, that aggressive spear into the site, but Bar Speedrun just couldn't coordinate together. They couldn't really accommodate for that. Couldn't time the util properly. They couldn't get the flash out for her. And Asteria as well, just not having the best game. It just piles and piles up into being a bit of a disastrous ending for them, unfortunately. But that being said, you still saw loads of really high bright spots here. Most notably players like Clementine, who played very, very well. Ale as well, strong sharpshooter for this team. Multiple instances of very strong solo potential. But Bratz Dollz were just the stronger team, both in versatility and firepower and coordination as a team. And that is why they won this series very convincingly with that 12-7. First half was very close, right? But then the second half came in, when they started to get more established reads on each other, then it became very clear who was the stronger team.
I mean, also another player to highlight, Jenny, being that anchor for the team. Like, whenever Jenny was on the sites, I mean, put her in the clutch, just let her anchor a site, and she was able to do it. But, I mean, a great game overall, and another good game on the day.
Yeah,
I mean, that's three
honestly,
games done so far.
That was a solid series. Loads of really explosive potential, loads of explosive moments from both teams. It was a good series nonetheless, even so, right? And so, with that being done, that is our last match of this period. We are going to be going into